Yes, everybody, Russell and West Ham Network. Hope you are all safe and well. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Not a very happy Monday, is it? Another drubbing, another Hammers Horror show, as I've said it. And again, because it is again, and we'll go through, I'm sure there's a million comments we're going to go through. We're going to look at, it's not just, this isn't just a one-off, it's a regular occurrence now, conceding a number of goals, and we'll talk about that as well, because I think it's important to put that into context and look at just how poor our defence is at the moment, which makes absolutely no sense to me at all. Right, let's go with some comments. It's going to be fun. Who's the first? Audi's first, bless him. Audi's first. Blind leading sheep, glass half full for many. DM bigger than West Ham. David Moyes is not bigger than West Ham, Audi. And I want to address, because I saw your comment on Anton's video, and I want to just. Anton's a very, a lot of fans are very positive. A lot of fans are very glass half full. To be honest, you are as well, Audi, because you've been a West Ham fan for 40 years, 50 years maybe, and you've probably seen us won 1-2 trophies. Just because I don't necessarily agree with your narrative doesn't mean you have to slag them off. And that's on both sides of the thing at all. To be honest, it wasn't, and because you're positive all the time doesn't mean you can't be annoyed and frustrated, because not every game's rosy. And yesterday was poor, and there's been at least 6 occasions this season where we've conceded more than 4 goals. And we'll talk about that in a minute as well. We'll talk about how many goals we're conceding. It's ridiculous. When is enough enough? Well, I think usual suspect. I think the trouble is, for me, doesn't matter what I say, doesn't matter what you say, doesn't matter what Gio says, Gonzo, Nicky, Nick, anyone says, the decision on what happens with David Moyes, the next head coach, doesn't rest with us. And people go, obviously, every time we lose, I get a barrage of abuse on Twitter. Oh, but you're because you're a positive guy, you're the reason why Moyes is still here. No, I'm not. Do you think I make decisions about the manager? No. Yeah, don't agree with that. Has Moyes gone yet? No. I really had hoped that something that would have sacked him. People and fans need something to lift their spirits. When it was 3-0, I was laughing. It was a surprise. When it's 5, I was expecting 6. I think the trouble is, I think a lot of us, realistically, knew that we were going to have a day after the Lord Mayor's show. We spoke about it quite clearly, after the Leverkusen, particularly the first half, saying, it should be a springboard, it could be a catalyst to get us to the next stage. But we were fully expectant that it wouldn't be. And, Oliver Glaston's got the Oliver Glaston's got the what's the name of him? Got the hoodoo on Moisey, and continues to do so. And we just couldn't keep up. And I've been listening to, I was listening to Gio and Charlie this morning. A really interesting show. Make some really good points about the substitutions, particularly. And for me, they talk about the Calvin Phillips substitution coming on instead of someone like Lewis Orford. That to me shows a over-reliance on the people we bring in. So we bring in someone like Calvin Phillips, who's a Moyes person. He wants to be seen, so it was almost like, I think he put him on to prove that he should be going on instead of Lewis Orford. But to be honest, bringing someone like Lewis Orford on, even if it was for 20 minutes or whatever, shows a appreciation of the future. And there wasn't. He did it with George Earthy. And unfortunately, it didn't work. Obviously, unfortunately, Georgia was injured. We might see him back before the end of the season in the first team potentially. But there was things where it's like, and sometimes and occasionally, once a season, twice a season, you get a freak result, and that's fair enough. But Not when you've had 6 and you've played 30 odd, a fifth, just under a fifth of our games we've lost by more than 4 goals. That's telling. I like my stats, and we'll go through the stats in a bit as well because I think it's important. It's not like it's a sad for the end of the season. I mean, at the end of the day, regardless of what happens and regardless of what we say, they won't sack him because they'll still have to pay out, and I know it's only a couple of $100,000 or whatever, but still, there's a reason why rich people are rich because they don't spend money. That's it. If I was rich, I wouldn't be rich by the end of it because I'd be spending money. Laughing has no affiliation with West Ham. I agree. Squad depth is the main issue, as it's been for all the case, and it's not even the depth. I don't think that's right. Again, a point that Gio made really, someone like City have a squad of probably about 16, 17 first team professionals. I think when everyone's fit, we probably have about the same, but it's utilising those. I don't think someone in the chat said that City. Not one player has played over 40 games for City this year. West Ham, it's probably about 3 or 4 at least. And that's the difference. Can't watch this painful saga anymore. What's the weather like? If West Ham wanted to know how to... Yeah, indeed. I was waking up this morning to find out Moyes was gone for good. Oh, dear. Good afternoon, everybody. The weather here is miserable like Moyes. Even though Moyes go now, should announce it for City will be going into the season. Well, I think someone like Bayern Munich, you look at Bayern Munich, I mean, was it a month ago, 6 weeks ago? They came out with a statement to say what was happening. And that, to me, is the way a big boy company, works. The trouble is, if that, and again, we don't know, Sean don't know, Nick don't know, X don't know, no one knows what the decision made. No one does, because they're not being told, because why would they? If a decision has already been made, and I imagine the players would know if the decision's been made as well. So, and I was saying to Anton this morning, if I knew my boss was leaving, he'll be on his notice period. You would down tools a little bit for that boss. You just would. I probably wouldn't go for that extra sale. I probably wouldn't make that extra phone call. So I'm thinking, well, he's going to be going anyway. And it's almost like a lot of them are going for the motions, it seems. The Leverkusen game proved that that's not always the case, but yesterday did seem it. Let's go. GP, good morning. They're on the beach. Can't be asked anymore. And nothing's been decided until after the season, as finished my announced. Now it's pointless. Matt, we don't know. You see, the reason why all this might be, it could be all lined up, and we can't say the next step because maybe the new head coach is still at a club. I don't know. The thing is, we don't know, and it's a not knowing, which I think is frustrating people. Rashane Thomas on the Athletic made a really good article today saying that the club needs to make some sort of decision or announcement in terms of what's happening. Rather than Chinese whispers, just put your big boy pants on and go, this is what we're doing, and then we can all know. We can all know how to react and what the next stage is. In terms of recruitment, we can keep the recruitment still going because at the end of the day, even if Moyes signs a new deal, the new deal will be as a head coach and he'll report to Tim Steindl. He hasn't got any more negotiating power. Winning the Europa League may well have given him that negotiating power to maybe negotiate a new deal on his current terms, but that is long gone now. So actually, it's whatever happens. So we are being linked. We are scouting for players, and we are gonna, because we got to do stuff from the beginning very, very quickly. And people go, well, what about the manager? If that's already in place, which it could well be, Tim could be talking to these new players already about. We don't know. Again, we do not know. All we see is what's on the pitch and what we hear on, on podcasts and stuff like that. We ain't going to win another match apart from maybe Luton and maybe we get some lucky Chelsea. We've only got 4 left, Matt, so we're only going to win 50% of our last games. We should buy Lewis Dunk. Old but solid, but it's old, isn't it? And then we get criticised for having the oldest squad. Will hope you well. 70 under I see shipping. Yeah, we're going to go through that in a minute. I think the half flan through drink on the floor yesterday. So much glasses are empty. Read that Phillips was seen joking. He doesn't help himself. Well, Phillips is a loan signing, isn't he, lads? And his mates with Eze, and so look, if they are, they are. But I think people got to realise. It's their job, and sometimes you have a good day at the office, and if I've had maybe a couple of sales will fall through or projects will fall through, on the way home I'll have a laugh because I will, and I think that's Accuse me, and Moyes out accused me of helping Moyes stage 9/11. Have you ever? Well, why do fans think that we only turn up to win games? Doesn't work like that, unfortunately. Enough is enough. Moyes has served us well, but it's all now done. Well, it had sort of, it does have a sense of inevitability, doesn't it? I mean, if you listen to his press conference, post match, saying that, didn't offer any excuses, which I don't think I think that might be one of the only times he's ever said that in a press conference, which is unusual for David Moyes not to take some positivity or something he's done well. So again, we just don't know, and that is a frustrating thing for everyone. Don't think we get in Europe now and attract top players for next season. I think we can attract top players for next season, but again, it's not necessarily. We're not going to be buying top players, are we? Tim Snyder model is not going out and buying 40, 50 million players. He might buy one, but not several. And actually, a lot of these are going to be from the leagues outside the top 5 leagues, and so you won't get much because it's, people will be wanting to come to the Premier League anyway. The trouble is, as I was saying to Anton this morning, is this is not some secret formula that only Tim's got. Everyone else knows that. Brighton have been doing that. Brentford have been doing it for years. Spurs are cottoning on. Villa are cottoning on. Palace are cottoning on. A lot of these sides are getting foreign-based managers now and that's part and parcel of what they do. It's about analytics, and if everyone has the same analytics, you're not going to make them up to make another player better. So everyone's going to know that these players are the top performing in the Belgian league, in the Greek league. So it's about competing. So if you haven't got Champions League, you haven't got European football rather, how are you going to compete? You're going to compete with whoever is in the dugout in terms of wanting to work for that manager and also, or head coach. And then you're going to have to compete in terms of wages. Now, we are in a fortunate position in terms of wages. We can offer more wages for, because of a very, very, very profitable season we'll have, or in terms of this year's finances. Sean went into it in a lot of detail, but we, because of the Declan Rice sale and European football and all that type of stuff and Europa League, and we have ended up at quite a advantageous position in terms of profit to wage structure. So we are in a decent signing. I think Moyes' insistent in signing Phillips was nailed in the coffin. I still think we had. Sorry, right. I still think we had a left winger lined up, and that fell through, which is one of the reasons why I think we tried to hang on to Ben Rahman for now a bit longer, and then it turned out we couldn't do it. So there we go. No point in them being on the bench, not being used, or yesterday's not coming. I think a lot of people did. The money used is getting should be Moyes' payoff. Absolutely knackered again yesterday. Russ had enough of Paqueta rolling around the floor and giving the ball away. For me, I think he's come to an end. Lucas has. I think the games has been absolutely poor. I haven't seen him play like that for a long, for probably maybe half a dozen games ago. For me, if I was a prospective manager looking at bringing him in, he hasn't done anything. You want to be the best player on the pitch. So people are almost like, yeah, this guy I do want to pay 85 million for. If I was City, I don't think I would want to pay £85 million for him at the moment, I'll be honest. Although it does seem there's several other clubs looking at him, PSG, I think Juventus and Man United as well. So many transfers needed. Summer needs to land a player a week at least, Adrian. Such a shame, but the longer Moyes stays on, he's not doing us any favours. It seems cruel trying to keep him just to need the pay. Well, same as it's almost like a Mexican standoff between the two of them. It's Moyes won't leave because he see out his contract and he'll get, and Sullivan won't release him and pay the stuff to get rid of him. So it's almost like this sort of Mexican standoff. And to be honest, we saw this coming in the beginning of the summer because then there was an opportunity to either back him or sack him, and he did neither. And that was the issue. And now we're sort of coming to the tail end of a season which could have been a lot better if decisions had been made. Even if they'd given Moyes a new contract, I think we'd be in a better position than we would be in now. Because now we're in limbo. And it's like, well, Moyes, I don't think Moyes has done enough to deserve a new contract. I don't think, and someone's going to come in and then they're going to have to hit the ground running and start work with the side straight away. And obviously, Tim is there in terms of that transition. That's the idea of his role. So there'll always be that transitional sort of person in between. So business as usual, but still, it hasn't helped us. Any news in Lopetegui? I would love it. We're going to talk about Hammer's headlines in a bit more detail, but yeah, apparently Lopetegui has rejected a deal from AC Milan in favour of a 3-year contract to West Ham, apparently. Believe that if you say it. I think it's going to be really interesting to see if this is the start of the Steinton era or not, based on who's in the dugout in the summer. If come August, I'm just picking names out of the hat. I don't know. I've got a list of everyone we've been linked. This is everyone we've been linked with. If, for example, we come in and Lopetegui turns up, possibly a Fonseca, possibly a Jose Mourinho or a Steve Cooper or someone like that, we know that it's business as usual. If we turn up and I don't know, Kieran McKenna, Abel Ferreira, Ruben Amorim, Edin Vetic, or even a Thomas Tuchel, then I think you've got justification to say it's the Steinden era. It's true what you're saying. He's in control of the football, of all the football operations at West Ham, because that's what you need now. The modern day setup, it involves a head of football, and Tim is that person. But whether the board, Mr. Sullivan, will allow him to do that fully, that's the issue. And if you don't allow him to, he'll bugger off and go to Newcastle or somewhere like that. I mean, that's going to be the case. We expect more if he took more responsibility for the 4 performances. This is where Fornells and Belly would have helped, possibly. Yeah, couldn't stick Moyes for another season. Well, unfortunately, I think if you he wouldn't be 1 year. It'll be a 2-year or 3-year deal, wouldn't it? But I just don't think that will happen. I heard Moyes wants to go back to Scotland, but they won't have him. Our luck has run out, and I can't wait until the end of the season. And hopefully we'll have a new first team coach, not manager, and some players. Second on his squad to slow Eze and Oise to put a bit. Didn't get near Palace. Massive. It's worrying. We need a manager, head coach statement soon, so Tim can start work. Tim is already working, Ken. That's what I mean. This is, and I think we underestimate, or we don't fully understand the role of a football, a proper director of football in a modern football setup. Tim is scouting. Tim is talking to players. Tim is, I imagine, talking to coaches as well. And that's the idea. Tim has it's like pyramid down from the head of director of football. The philosophy goes throughout the whole side. So it would be the head coach comes in and has to work alongside Tim with that philosophy. And if he's not following the philosophy, if he's not playing the players that Tim buys, if he's not maybe utilising the youth sides within the matchday squads, then he'll be out in his ear, because that's basically how it works. I think that's where we have to get. It's not we're not sort of hanging around treading water until the new manager, until the head coach has been decided. It's business as usual, and we have to keep going. And then on top of that, we'll have the head coach coming in. The head coach will look after the first team. Moyes Saturday could be quite unpleasant for Moyes. Punters won't take an extreme low block, starved of all and likely defeat. Yeah, I mean, looking at those defeats. I mean, this is what we've had this year. So as I said, 6 games. Only one of them being at home, which I think makes a massive difference. I think if we'd had 3 of those, 4 of those at home, I don't think David Moyes would be in the job. I think the fact is because they're all away, it's almost like they can be sort of deflected. I don't agree with that, but I think honestly that's the case. I think. So 6 times this season we've conceded at least 4 goals away from home, or 4 goals basically from the opposition for a defensive-minded manager. This is our for and against over the last 15 years, as I think it was Ralph said in the chat a bit earlier on. We're at 63, which automatically is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, sixth worst goals against in the last 15 years. But we've still 4 games left. As you can see, Avon Grant, 70 goals they conceded in the season. We went down for minus 27 goal difference. Yes, we've scored for about, is it the third most in the last 15 years? Yep. We've conceded the sixth least most as well. And that's the issue. If that against number was more like, I don't know, like an typical Allardyce year of 50 goals, we would be guaranteed European football because we would have had first we'd had a positive goal difference as well. And that's the issue for a defensive manager to be conceding almost as many goals as when we were relegated with Avram Grant. Don't look good. Hope he's right and all lined up. I support Dagenham Redbridge. Just we'll have to put up with VAR as well. Good point. How bad is Jared? I don't like hearing players. Well, he was in the dugout, wasn't he? If he was that bad, he wouldn't have been around, would he? So he was in the dugout behind Moyes. Clearly, they jabbed him to get him ready for the game. No word about, he wasn't even in the squad. But maybe just the effects of taking he did allude to that in his press conference ahead of the Palace game to say, have to see the effects of the injection. Sometimes, it's like a lot of things, the adrenaline kicks in, the injection and the come down. It's that's what really does it. And maybe he's still not just there. He doesn't have any requirements to be a head coach. If Moyes rotated properly, our subs would be better, would be sharper. To be honest, Kai, I think that's one thing, definitely. But also, I think, the fact is, Angelo Bola shouldn't be in this side. Cresswell shouldn't be in this squad. Do you know what I mean? Those are 2 players to start off with. We get rid of 2 players like Fornals and Cornet and Tilo Kehrer. And to be honest, if we'd been ruthless and got rid of the likes of Ogbonna, got rid of the likes of Cresswell, the likes of Tilo Kehrer would have probably still be here and still have decent game time. And possibly, 4 hours would have got more game time. We rely too heavily on these older heads, and every year we prolong it. I mean, there was talk of giving Oggy another contract. No. Cresswell, no. Vlad, give him his 1 year and let him go, because he'll be 32, 33. He'll be happening. He's already losing pace against people. In 18 months' time, he's going to be losing even more pace against players. Stop giving contracts to people that, to the detriment of our football club. Oggy's a standout guy, lovely guy. Cress, after Noble, got the most Premier League appearances at West Ham in terms of the Premier League. But they shouldn't have been here. They shouldn't have been there 12 months ago. And that's the issue. It's going to be a free... Yeah. Well, I mean, Tim in his interview with, was it Florian or someone like that? Florian Pettenberg or something like that, said that, you never stop building your side. And it really is a 3 to 4 year proper project. And in fact, even 10, 15 years, you're still rebuilding. So, but we need to get to a point where we're sort of swapping in 1 or 2 players a year, not 8. Could be 12. Do you know what I mean? I think Cornet may have got that goal anyway. Had the keeper totally missed it. He was running in at that point. Would like Rob Adverts to hold your hand. Oh, anyway. Yesterday ended up as a quiz day, thanks to Hammett. Very good. For everyone's fault except Moyes, according to him. Our next head coach is out of work, so Sullivan won't pay to release. I don't think he is, Barry. I don't think he is. But also, if he comes in July, then we might have to pay him a month's late. Honestly, we penny pinch for a few quid. And that's why rich people are rich, because they do that. Where we think, oh, fuck it, it's like 100, that's the reason why because they do penny pinch. Going to be a struggle next season if we don't start well, I agree. But also, what's interesting to see, Matt, is if we don't start well, how long before there's the anti-slot movement or whatever, because there will be, there'll be, there'll be backlash. They'll be like, oh, we told you Moyes wouldn't have got, and the others are, oh, well, he's so whatever happens. I don't think there's going to be somebody who comes in unless they hit the ground running. But if they hit the ground running, the Moyes in lot will be Moyes out will be like, told you so, and the Moyes in was like, yeah, well, we are conceding. There's always going to be a divide now, I think. But it's going to be interesting to see how long we give the new manager, the new head coach. Sorry, it's a pound. Because that to me is what's going to be interesting. Right, I need to go through. Sorry, all I said was that it must have come down. I know Bowen had injections, so couldn't he had one as he missed him badly. Oh, Ludders, just pumping for the drugs, why don't you? Jesus, Ludders. I don't think you can do it more than one a week or something. Anyway, the board are a disgrace at my club, West Ham. They're running down the team, so it's bound to bare bones. Need to rebuild. Will take 2 to 3 seasons. I think, to be honest, thinking about it, with that European football, the rebuild won't have to be, because we won't need as a bigger squad as you would do if we had European football. So in a weird way, it puts less pressure on getting the squad. It will be a 2-year process. We could do the first year. Let's get the initial ones in, and if we can do more, we can do more. But that second season, hopefully a good season next season, May gets back into Europe for the 25-26 season. By then, we'd have the squad halfway there, and then we can add to it in that summer. I don't know. I think Sullivan is setting up, so not spending. Don't think so. What players should stay next season? As many as possible. Moyes should have given the 3-game rule after Palace. He should have gone. Conversations to pay Moyes off is a drop in the ocean compared to what we lose. I agree, but unfortunately, people see the money now rather than the money in 6 weeks' time. As I said to Martin, maybe they get rid of him and put Nolan in for a 4-game bounce, just to try and have a go, do a Trevor Brooking, but they won't, because it means spending money, which they're not necessarily going to guarantee getting back. They're likely to get back, even if we get up a place, and particularly now, Europe will be 7th now, because with Man U and Man City both competing for the FA Cup final, Man United are pretty much guaranteed 5th spot. City are guaranteed to qualify already, so it does drop to 7th. Not officially, but it is 7th. All players going to be apart from who showed up, and that's why at the end of the season they can go up and go. Greece for sale. I think Greece gives me Paqueta vibes as well sometimes, I'll be honest. Moyes must leave or we'll be in trouble next season. Tim to find the next head coach. That's it, Steve. You said manager, so you are £1 to the food banks. I expect to see a screenshot. Sean want to leave. Thereby, the difference is, I imagine there would be, Mark, but we don't know, do we? But Villa ended up turning over Bournemouth 3-1, wasn't it, yesterday? So that Thursday-Sunday thing don't make no difference, because they played away at Lille and played extra time and penalties against a very good Lille side. So I don't always sign up to that sort of Thursday-Sunday. If you're on the crest of a wave, you end up keep the possession going, you keep the games going. I remember talking to Tonka, and he was saying back in the 85-86 season, they played every 3 days, and they were just literally running on adrenaline. And they didn't do training, really. It was literally adrenaline, and that's what got through them, and just keep things going. Moyes should not be in the same contract. I can only see us being 12th. There we go. Well, that's improvement on last year, Ralph. Glass half full. Room real. Yeah, exactly. 260. I mean, that's not, as I said, that list isn't, I don't think that list is even complete, to be honest. But as you see, some definitely not, like Xabi Alonso, definitely not. We know that Marino's not on the list. We know that Will Steele's not on the list. We know that Potter's not on the list, apparently, according to Sean. But again, what does Sean know? He only knows what he's been told. And, we've been linked heavily with Sarri over the last few days, Lopetegui, and Fonseca as well. Apparently, a big splash in the back of the Independent on, was it Tuesday, Wednesday, that he heads our list. Don't know if he does or doesn't. Fantastic interview given about his philosophy in terms of blooding young players. And he talks about how Lille basically don't want to win the championship in France. They don't really League on, but what they want to do is create a culture and promote from within in terms of youngsters playing attractive style of football and stuff like that. And so, that's the type of brief you want the next head coach to get when they come in. Tim says, right, this is what we're going to do. We're never going to win the Premier League, but we're going to be a good cup team. We're going to get into Europe. We're going to play a nice style of football. And where we can, look to bring in the youth side. I'm not saying we bring in the youth side regardless, because actually I think some players aren't good enough some of our academy are not good enough to be playing first team at West Ham. It's not saying 3, 4, 5 years time they won't be, but not now. And in fact, we'll have the academy show. That'll be tonight, 6 p.m. We talk about the under-18s winning, the players who've gone out on loan, that type of thing. But, I think I was reading like the other day about, the fact is, why isn't Caelan Casey given a run out? I just don't think he's physically strong enough for Premier League. I genuinely don't. He's a good player, very steady Eddie, very reliable. But I just don't think he's physically ready. Some players are in different positions. I mean, Junior Robertson, right back, I think he could slot in now. I think he should be brought in now. But he hasn't been, but I think he should be. We've been with Jack Clark again. Why so many managers of different profiles? Well, again, I mean, it's who's been linked. And so we know, just like players, that managers, are very keen to get, particularly if they're out of work. The agent will phone up someone. Oh, yeah, did you hear this one? So it's all very different. All managers have been linked. Who would you like to come to see us? Personally, for me, I've done a piece about Ruben Amorim. I really want him. If not, Abel Ferreira. I think he'd be a great shout. If not, Arnie Slot. If not, Kieran McKenna. I mean, they're all Edin. Obviously he knows West Ham. He was assistant manager Slaven Bilic, having a great time at Borussia Dortmund at the moment. Roger Schmidt, German. Benfica manager. Thomas Tuchel, I mean, he comes with pedigree. Probably anyone apart from Jose Mourinho, to be perfectly honest, and then maybe Lopetegui. Because, I mean, Lopetegui, I don't see Lopetegui being a particularly progressive manager. He's very much a bit like the old, it's my way or the highway, and that's what we don't want. Question for you, Rusty B. What actually is Jack? He's been here, got the other was directing. Have no clue what he is. Well, he doesn't actually work full time for the club. I believe he's a non-executive director, isn't he? I believe. Same as Jack works for Jack has his own brand. He works for it's. I had a chat with him about it the other day. Actually, it was allergies. He works with an allergy thing in terms of allergy profile company. I don't know but I know he's all over the place. There's a lot of stuff within the marketing department as well. So he was out doing all the American stuff recently. I know out in Nashville and stuff. Steve Bruce, Fat Frank. Yep, sounds great. Apparently the fans can't wait for him to go. But he's doing a decent job there. As soon as I saw a defence, I knew may we have had Skipper and Russ at the back. Well, I tell you what, I would have offered something different. After Adam, hope you're well. It's a dawn of a new era. Returns into Bayern Munich. But don't forget, Tim wasn't in charge of the whole of Bayern Munich, by Leverkusen. Well, not Bayern Munich. I know I keep saying by Leverkusen. He was part of the team. So yeah, he would have definitely be part of that. But he wasn't sort of the main dude and doing everything. But as I said, he's got a bloody good hit record so far this season at West Ham. Lopetegui has been dismissed. We'll wait and see in it. Do you think Kudus will leave in the summer? I think it depends for me if Liverpool sell Salah, because I could see him being the one that they bring through potentially. Or whether Kudus rates him. But then, if Salah leaves, Kudus' preferred position is at 10, and he'll be put on the wing. Whether he'll want to do that, I don't know. We know Waslam's going. We know Paqueta's going. But I think Kudus, I think you keep him for another season. And then with Paqueta going, he could be the main man. And I think he likes that. So he's been at Ajax for a few years, despite being linked out of there. So we'll see. Yep, I think that's in general for anyone as well. I think. Why did Ariel not play his league goalkeeper? Because he's injured. Ludders. Abel is the man we want. We can cancel Osman deal over Tim. Head over it, raising concern. The Abel could be a lot harder. That's what I think. That's what I think we need to see who comes in. That gives us a really good idea. 1 to 2 years to integrate some of the youngsters. A bad thing. I think 1 year. I think 2 years. You start. 2 years. You're risking the likes of Alvarez, likes of Kudus leaving. I think 1 year you could probably get away with it because now we're sort of a semi-established European side, really. To be fair, we're semi-established. Well, we are a relatively established top 10 side, and our league is that 6th to 12th, and we're regularly, even if it's 8th or 9th this season, we're out of Europe. Obviously, it is an improvement previous year, granted, five or six places above where we were last year. But that European law, in terms of does give appeal for new players coming in, and that's what I definitely risk. It was always going to happen. Yeah, but that's why I put an asterisk next to it, Matt. That's why there's an asterisk next to it. Look, asterisk to denote it wasn't in the Premier League, but still, we have been built by that many times. That graphic should show some forthcoming gains. Not just yet. Build. Let's get the confidence. Is massive. Yeah, indeed. Oh my God. Who was in goal for them 6 games? Don't know. Aston Villa, was that? I don't know. It's not the goalkeeper's fault. And Ludders, I'm not. This is not a witch hunt on Fabianski. He's been brilliant since he's come in, to sort of deputise for Areola. It's a defence. Both goalkeepers have done well this year. I think. I wouldn't say neither are Roberto standard, but I think definitely it's a defence. And when you are a defensive-minded coach, it's slightly worrying that your main thing's not working. I wouldn't mind Kevin Keegan taking on. Definitely has faith in the youth. Kevin won't take over. He likes his 18 job. He's perfect. He loves it. Well, they did get turned over 8-1 last weekend. So even they were at top of the table almost. I think it was second or third. So anything can happen in that. There can always be a freak result. Almost our worst yet. Has happened. Defense has been poor, and he hired the history to be worse. Question for who'd like to be as our head coach. Ray, that's £1 for the food banks. Please give me a screenshot afterwards. I'm calling if Chris back to Ipswich. Well, there is a talk that we will do that Chris will come to Ipswich, go to Ipswich, and we'll take Leif Davis to us, regardless of whether in the Premier League or not. We're not close to a side a few months ago. They are out to go players with the bench. Indeed, putting the game into context. Yep, totally agree. I don't think again are any better. I think they are. I think they are now. Not a Bonner maybe 4 or 5 years ago, but now, for me, Mavropanos and Aged are my top 2. They really are. I think, the trouble is the type of game that Aged plays is not a progressive. It's a progressive style of football, not a backs against the wall. That's where Zuma comes into his own. Mavropanos, I think, can do a little bit of both. But I still don't think they're brilliant. I think we still need at least 1, if not 2, quality centre halves. So you've got 3 or 4 proper top draw centre halves to pick from. Russ, Sufo, Oggy, I would bring in at least the Premier has left the defence in a shambles. Yeah, don't forget also, what's the name's 39 as well, isn't it? Fabianski. I'm going to give the head coach as much time as possible. Good. Aldi, hope you're well, my friend. Trust in our youth. I think we give. I mean, you picked a few there. Scarles is injured. Scarles has been injured for a long time. But I'm sure if you follow the academy inside out, that's the case. George Earthy, yeah, I think George. I was surprised George has got some game time, to be honest, because for me he's still he needs to bulk up, and same as Callum as well. They need to get stronger. They're not strong enough, in my opinion. And that's no detriment to them. Technically, they're fantastic. Throwing Lewis Orford in that as well. Julie Robinson, as I said, those 5. Jacob Knightbridge, eventually the goalkeeper. Those 6. Josh Ajala in the 18s. Edris Golombekis in the 16s. There's 1 or 2 in each which could easily make it, but they need, and technically they will have the tools in the locker, but it's that physical side that just always worries me about them. For me, the crazy thing is Moyes used more of the squad than Moyes ball. Probably could last longer than the season. I agree. We do have a lot of potential. We'll be good in 2 years if they stay to the World Cup. Indeed, that's what they need to do. I'm wondering, do the Moyes in believe he's big in the club and Moyes out replaceably? Do the Moyes in believe he is bigger? No manager is bigger than the club, Aldi. I don't know where you've got fixated about that. In fact, I addressed you right at the beginning about that because I think you're wide of the mark, I'll be honest, in terms of criticisms of Anton. Moyes may as well stay. The season is over. It's down to Moyes to walk if he wants. That's what I mean. It's like an Indian standoff. Mexican standoff, rather. Point has been Europe with a small squad. Moyes has gutted out. Well, it's not really league because actually, if you get into Europe and you get into group stages, you guarantee £30 million already. So it's not pointless. But it does put untold stress on the squad. Just so annoying that we have a better squad than last season on paper, but we've enjoyed it at worse indeed. Who is Alexandra Blessing? He is the manager of Union Saint-Gilles, the Belgium side. With fatigue or making a statement of some kind. I don't think they're fatigued. I don't think they'll make a statement. I just think they're fatigued. I think they run to the ground, mate. Because you have something called professional integrity. You want to win the game. But I think they might have down tools about 3 or 4 down, probably. But that's not up to. And again, that's not a slight on them. If you're losing, you go, oh, fuck it. Yeah, same way. If you have a bad day, you just carries on being a bad day. Take Amorim off this. He ain't leaving Sporting. You never know. When Moyes leaves the West Ham family, must unite under a new coach. That's better. You still have £1, Ray, though. As much as I love being Europe, love Prague, I suppose if none of the managers will be, yeah, quite possibly. Afternoon, Papa. Nice to see you, mate. Hope you're well. Running to the ground all season. I have a new manager. Could be any truth. He's not a manager. No, he will not be our new manager. Aldi, can you please? You now need to donate £1 to the food banks because it's head coach. Can we stop saying manager? The next person in the dugout will be a head coach. You owe £1 to the food banks. I expect a screenshot. What's Moyes says should wait until 21. Didn't agree with that at all. I think physically, yes, I agree. For me, if there's some kids there, you want what you think. Yes, Joe Cole and Lampard played on 18, but the game now is totally different than it was 14 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. There is a physicality to it, and I think physically they're not ready to their 21. I agree. You do have there are freaks. There are guys who are physically strong enough, whether they've gone out on loan. But the way the structure works without reserve team football, you struggle to get anyone to be physically ready. I'd say, and I maybe not 21, but I agree they're physically not ready than they were when we had the old combinations league. I agree with that in that respect. I'd rather have Mourinho than Moyes for the time being. If you're good enough, you're old enough. Possibly, yep. Mourinho's just enough class. Moyes, Spurs massive. Hi, Chubby. I imagine you are probably a Tottenham fan. Let's time you out. I'm pretty sure half that list could be excluded. Possibly. But again, I think we'll have to wait and see who the head coach, £2, who the head coach is. That will determine who's made the decision. Because someone like Tuchel would work well with Stidham. They're mates, so unless he's the head coach, most of our players will want out. Possibly. Right, what we got here? Sorry, got to leave. Got dentist. A bit early, isn't it? Appointment's 2:30, isn't it? Other fans patient enough for the rebuild? I don't think they are. Personally, I don't think they are. And I think there is a reaction. It's not just West Ham fans. It is football fans in general. Despite the fact what we say, there is a ground sort of opinion say, as long as we play good football, I don't care where we are. I think for some people that's true. I think for some people that's just lip service. That is utter bollocks. If you're playing good football and you're at the bottom of the league and you're getting relegated, you'll be like, we need to be playing. We need to shit house these guys. And it doesn't matter what people say. That's what will happen. That's what will happen. When your mates are Arsenal, Spurs fans, and Man United fans, and they're at the top of the league, and we're at the bottom of the league, and I'm not saying we're not, and not saying we might not be. We might play nice football. We might have a good squad. It might just work, and then we do like a Villa, and it just clicks, and we end up being in the top six. But the chances are, throughout our history, that hasn't happened. When they start slagging you off, you'll be like, "Oh, get rid of this guy. They're bringing someone else." Knee-jerk reactions, and that's what will happen. Howard Donny slot personally high on my list. 40 odd, 45, something like that. We need a head coach, pound for you, English Yardy, who the players have respect for because of Moyes' coaching. I think don't rate or respect him. I think they respect him, but I don't think they rate him. Imagine how many goals we could concede without, indeed, how many clean sheets we kept. Not quite a few, but not since turn of the summer, since turn of the year. Fabs was poor yesterday, really good. We should be bottom. We are shocking. I think because we're actually basically we scored a lot of goals as well. So Anthony well, mate. Don't forget Potts. Potts is he's doing a fantastic. We talk about him. Talk about him in the academy show as well. Very good. Having a great time at Wickham. He'll come back and will fit nicely in that sort of group of midfielders, I think, unless they deem to get another one out. Bit late to the party, seeing 29 in just ruined my day, fair enough. Sad thing is when we're 3-0 down, I felt nothing. Yeah, I'm the same. You need to take them under your wing and feed them. Is the Moyes in or out even real? Most fans have been we played better football, but Europe was good. We were like, I think there is a divide. I think it's a noisy divide. I do think there's a nucleus of people who are very similar to that. GP, they've been through it before. Yes, they'd like better football to be played. Yes, they've enjoyed football in Europe, and yes, they'd like to maintain a Premier League status. Those three basically should be released this week with the remainder of the coaching staff seeing out. Not going to happen though. How many centre backs could transition? The fact I'm thinking is probably giving you an idea. Realistically, possibly one, but he's injured at the moment, and I don't even think I don't even think he would transition well at the moment, and that's Michael Forbes from the Northern Ireland International. He, to me, has that sort of old school defensive Craig Dawson quality about him, but I don't know if he'd be physically strong enough. And that's the issue. That's the issue. It's all well and good thinking, we'll just throw the kids in, but that can have a really detrimental effect on the kids' progression. We've interviewed people before. We've interviewed people like Sebastian Leggett. Do you remember when Sam threw all the kids in against Nottingham Forest? That put his progression back months. Look at Callum Marshall going to West Brom. That's put him back months. Who will be the assistant head coach, Ross? I don't know, but well done for using the right vernacular. Sorry, would be an ideal. Oh, that's it. Oh, 50p. I do know he isn't leaving. There we go. Fair enough. Would you stop Edricks and Yarmal? I don't know who that is. Russ, look at Sterling. Nothing to him at all. More beef in the butchers. Different. It's looks like Jermaine Defoe and people like they are strong. They are stronger than they look at the moment. I think that's why Callum needs to go to play a lot of games in like League One or League Two. He'd come back a much stronger player. Look at Freddie Potts is doing it great here. There we go. That will be donated to the food banks for your penance for saying manager instead of head coach. Well done. Thank you. Thank you for what? You can tell from teams. You can tell from the other teams. We just need some physicality. However, that will come with time. We could have given them more. Yeah, probably right. Probably right. The culture is now everyone wants success. That's the trouble, Michael. That is the trouble. Russ, if we make required, how much will it cost? I don't even know what the required purchase would be, to be honest, mate. There's a couple of. I think we'll have to. I think we've got to balance it. I think where previously under the current regime, it's about improving the first team side and bringing in players who would improve the first team. I actually think you need some squad, need some fillers. And we've been linked to a couple. I think free transfers will be useful for those fillers, and that's no disrespect to them. But if we can get someone in who's a proven player or has experience and would and knows his role in the squad, I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't know, mate. Don't know. I have no idea. Maybe 150, maybe 200 million. Depends what they would want to do. Maybe a couple of centre halves, a new right back, left winger, striker. Probably it for, I'd say those 5 maybe immediates. I don't know. Pat, well, you've been got your Trustpilot rating there, have you, Amaret? Well done. Patience doesn't exist in modern football. I totally agree. Used to go in the pub and have a rant. Yep, I totally agree. Bring back Reece Oxford. Nope. Any news on the Mbaba contract? No, I don't think he's signing for us anymore. That's for sure. For me, no, I think he's gone. I think he'll end up OP. Maybe I should. You'd have got a bit of respect there, Amaret, but I didn't. No, Mbama's no, he's not going to stay, is he? Is there any truth on the just as much truth as we've heard. Said Osman was only playing on AstroTurf as questionable as to why he could play in grass. We'll wait and see what happens when he comes in and plays well for Brighton, innit? We have to wait until before the manager goes. Yes, you're right. Okay, I'll give you that one. The manager goes because he's still a current manager. I think you do. Possibly. Although I've got a feeling. I have a feeling that it will be shortly after the end of the season. I think it has to be. Not just for our sanity, but for his sanity as well. Because otherwise, what are you going to do for that extra month? I don't know. Inevitably, you're on gardening leave then, aren't you, really? I think although his contract runs out the 30th, I reckon there'll be announcement at the end of the season. Possibly. I don't know. Pele pay football with rolled up banana cheek. What? Banana cheek? It doesn't mean he couldn't do it with a ball. Thanks, Adam. Great. Sunderland, it looks like Sunderland's going to do it. Yeah, Divine looks like Sunderland is a. But again, we talk about our players in a great respect. Sunderland's the side that are most likely to get him, not Crystal Palace or a Brighton or someone or Brentford or anyone in the Premier League. He'll be dropping down a division, and that to me shows sometimes we give some of our players, our academy players, too much of a elevated position. We have the same thing with Sonny Perkins, but the same thing with Grady and Diangana. I'm going to try and find that slide. And this isn't. I've not updated this slide, but this gives you an idea of what I was trying to say the other day. Let me quickly download it, and then I'll go in a minute about our youth team. Because there's an assumption that we've got was it 64? Let me just download these 2 slides. Now again, this isn't 100%. I'm just this. I have not updated this in about 6 months, so this may have changed. Just warning you. This is the the released list of players that we've released and over the last few years. While that's loading, I'm just going to come back to you. Wonder what the chances of loans staying under a new coach. What loans you mean, mate? The ones going out, the ones coming in. Plenty of clubs looking for a new club. Clubs looking for a new club. Have some patience. We're definitely going to get a new. It's cooking indeed. So this is the list of players which we have given first team debuts to. Again, this is not complete because I've included George, and then obviously a lot. And then in terms of No, ignore this one. This is different. This is this was everyone that we'd given first team debuts for, and this was the number that were in the Premier League debuts. But again, if you're looking at some of these players who have left, obviously, Elliot went on to have a great. Obviously, Dillian, God rest his soul. Sebastian Legat, Reece Burke's now in the Premier League. Blair's nowhere near. Reece is out as well. Lewis is out. Josh is back, obviously. Parfit Williams, Donnell, Jordan Brown, Alex Pike, Dominguez, Haspert Danovic, Nathan Holland, Grady Ghana, Connor Coventry, Joe Powell, even people like Xander Silva and stuff like that, Jeremy and Gakia. We haven't, at the moment, missed out on anyone. So when we let players go, there's usually a reason why we've let them go. I'm really fascinated to find out what remit will be given next season. Does it have more influence? I think I'll have more influence next season for sure. Went to and has done well. Yeah, done well. He'll get more game time. I totally agree. Well, we hope he gets more game time. That was Sonny Perkins' idea, wasn't it? Tony Martinez, you're right. That's one. Yeah, that's one of them. That's probably it. And again, he had to go around the houses until he ended up at Porto. He's gone around the houses a little bit. With no European football next year, will suit us better. He knew what he was doing all along. Played the Premier League, scored. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. It's not. Yeah, but that was the debut in the Premier League. Not has played the Premier League. It's his debut anyway. It doesn't matter. Maybe I'll do some. I'll look into the release list as well in a bit more detail. Anyway, I've got to go because I've got to do some work. Anyway, keep an eye on the channel. We'll be having the Hammers headlines talking about Lopetegui, talking about people, some players we've been linked with, and the loan signings on the West Ham women's side. And then this evening we've got the Academy show. We're talking about all the stuff around the Academy that's happened in the last sort of week or so. And until next time, do you rate Mbama? I'm not sure about him. No. I did. But I've seen him. I think he's lost a lot of interest. And no, not particular, not in the last 6 months for sure. He had a lot, there was a lot going for him, and I think I was one of the others who got into the narrative that he's the answer to our problems. But no, for me, I think Callum Marshall is more. I mean, Callum Marshall, not even funny. He left, went on loan to West Brom, didn't play for West Brom, came back, and he's still top goal scorer in the PL2. That's how many goals he's scored. But I just don't think he's. I think physically he's ready, but I just don't think he's got the skill. I don't know if that's the right way, but anyway. As I said, take care, stay safe, stay warm, stay humble, keep the faith, and come in your irons. See you later. Bye.